Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Nice rainy afternoon, huh? Well, welcome to the May 24th, 2023 City of Springfield License Commission meeting. I'd like to open the meeting at 5:30 p.m. First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes for the Springfield License Commissioners meeting held on Wednesday, May 10th, 2023. Did all commissioners have an opportunity to review the minutes?
Yes,
Yes.
Any changes,
yes.
corrections? Yes, or Peter?
Seventh order of business, I believe it should say, instead of licensee did not appear, Attorney Rook requested a continuance.
Okay,
And on the ninth order of business, I did not vote to approve the population increase, so
somebody else seconded.
somebody else
I
seconded.
second that.
Okay.
Yes, I second it.
Okay.
Oh, was that BYOB or was that the other? Which one? There was one
Oh,
that
the population increase, I know.
Is-
population increase, yeah. Okay. Oh, is the one above that? It says commission voted unanimous to approve. Eighth order of business, sorry.
Eighth order.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. So this was Commissioner Cade. And Peter, you voted no.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
I make a motion to approve the minutes for the Springfield License Commissioners meeting held on Wednesday, May 10th, 2023, with the corrections noted by Commissioner Singleton.
Second,
Commissioner Singleton, Commissioner Cade,
Yes,
Commissioner Singleton,
yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. The second order of business is approval of the minutes for the Springfield License Commission hearing held on Monday, May 15, 2023. This was the special meeting held. Did everyone have an opportunity to review the minutes?
Yes.
Okay, any changes?
No.
Correction, okay. I make a motion to approve the minutes of the Springfield Board of License Commissioner meeting held on May 15th, 2023.
Second,
Commissioner Cade?
since I wasn't there, do I need to vote?
no, you can abstain.
Okay. Commissioner Singleton?
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio was not present, correct?
Abstain. You're right. I was not there. Abstain.
Okay, and Commissioner Ramirez?
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Okay. New petitions. First petition is for a change of manager for Vino Inc., DBA Center Stage located at 265 Dwight Street from Joanne Askin to Samuel Velasquez, manager of record. Who's
Good
here for, good evening.
Daniel Kelly for the petitioner, and Mr. Velasquez is on here as well. He's under Sammy. This is a change of manager. Mr. Velasquez will be the proposed new manager of Center Stage. He'll be there essentially every single minute they're open. He's typically there between 50 to 55 hours a week. They will have 6 servers on the roster. Mr. Velasquez is tip certified. All of the servers are already tip certified. And in fact, that is a condition of employment. Before you can even be considered employment, you have to be tip certified. Mr. Velasquez has been in the downtown bar and hospitality business for 20 plus years. He actually was the manager of record for about 10 years on a bar down on the cross street from the old registry. I think it was called Pure at the time, and he was the manager there for about a decade or so. Most recently, he ran the X Room, which is part of the Mardi Gras, was part of the Mardi Gras, but the way the floor was configured and it was partitioned off, it was essentially like he was running his own bar, and he's been doing that for the better part of a decade as well. So I suggest he's a very good candidate to continue that, essentially what he was doing there over at Center Stage. So we'd ask you to look favorably upon the petition.
Thank you. Mr. Velasquez, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you today?
Good, good. Attorney Kelly did talk about your experience and the fact that you'll be there 50 to 55 hours a week. What are going to be the hours for the stage?
It would be 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. We lock the door at 1 a.m. No re-entry after 1 a.m. Those are the plans right now, yes.
Okay, and this is 7 days a week?
7 days a week, yes.
Okay. So you're pretty much, what's going to happen when you're not there?
I do have an assistant manager that is on hand. He is tip certified. He's been with me for about 5 years as well.
Okay. Okay, and you know, I do take it he's tip certified. Attorney Kelly did say everyone was tip certified.
Yeah.
And you
Yes.
know that you have to keep all those certifications in, you know, a binder or somewhere readily
Yes.
available, just in case that you're asked to provide for those.
Yes.
Okay, where do you live?
I live in Chicopee on Carew Street, right off of East Springfield,
Okay,
about 7 minutes up the road.
okay. Now, do you understand that anything that happens within, you know, the establishment, you are responsible for whether you are there or not, whether you're present or not,
Yes.
and you accept that responsibility?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions from the commissioners?
Yes. So Center Stage is going to continue to be owned by Beano Incorporated, and the DBA is going to remain Center Stage. Is that what we're hearing?
Short, very short term. I don't want to give anything away because paperwork hasn't been signed, but if I was a betting man, I would bet on within the next 30 days, you'll have an application for a complete change of ownership with a new corporation. However, with Mr. Velasquez as the same role here.
I would bet on that too.
Yes, you would win that bet. You would win that.
Okay, that's it. That's it.
Any other questions? No. And I make a motion to accept the petition for change of manager for Beano Inc. DBA Center Stage located at 265 Dwight Street from Joanne Askin to Samuel Velasquez as manager of record.
Second,
Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
okay. Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Good luck.
Thank you so
Okay. Second item is a petition for a change of manager for Samaya Restaurant Inc., DBA Malecon Restaurant located at 137 Chestnut Street from Genesis Pujo to Dominga Pujo's manager of record. Hi, Genesis.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
So what were you able to work something out? What do you have for us?
Yes, I spoke to my employee. She's also here in the meeting, and she's going to go for manager at Malecon.
Did you fill out the paperwork?
Yes, I filled it out.
Yes,
I
we
haven't
did.
dropped it off. I'm gonna take it to City Hall tomorrow.
Okay. So if I'm not mistaken, we will have to continue this until the license office has all that information, so we
Okay.
can put you back on the agenda,
Oh, okay.
okay?
Mhm.
But thank you so much for working so hard and quickly to get someone else, okay? I do want to commend you on
Thank
that.
you.
Okay,
Mhm.
so I'm gonna make a petition to continue the petition for a change of manager for Sumaya Restaurant, Inc., DBA Malecon Restaurant located at 137 Chestnut Street from Genesis Pujo to
Lucinda.
Dominga Pujo's manager
Oh,
of
okay.
record. So
Second.
we'll-
Okay.
Okay, Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Okay, so once the license office has an opportunity to review the new application, they will call you and let you know when you're going to be on the agenda. Hopefully it'll be maybe in another 2 weeks.
All right, sounds good. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, good night.
And Genesis, before you log off, if you could do that as soon as possible. I know that Edna and Anna had reached out and they were just trying to get this as well. So if you can get that to us as soon as possible, we can move on it. Thank you.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Third item is a petition for a pledge of license to Bay State Savings Bank for 447 Sumner Inc., DBA Chestnut Street Package Store, Rashka, Grocery Manager of Record.
Hello.
Hi,
I
Hello.
am my wife and is joining us. She's the manager of record, and we are requesting the pledge since we are going to be borrowing the money from the Bay State Savings Bank, and we have included the paperwork for that.
and Rasha is your wife.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, hello.
hi. Okay,
Petition was approved already before, so.
okay. Okay, okay. I'd like to ask the attorney, what, yeah, I'm a little stumped here.
Slide into
What
the-
are our questions, Peter?
So we've already heard this transfer of license, and there was a pledge that we missed, apparently. It was not ready at the time.
Yeah.
So now we are just approving the pledge
that is-
because we've already approved the transfer. Am I getting this right, Attorney Poe?
Yes, you are, Peter.
Okay.
I believe you went to the ABCC and they asked you to make the change, and this is what the
right.
pledge that was included. And
Dr.
brought-
Our mechanic.
Okay.
So it's ready for consideration by the commission
Okay.
at this time. Chair
Okay.
Espinosa.
I make a
Okay.
motion to approve the pledge of license to Bay State Savings Bank for 447 Sumner Incorporated, DBA Chestnut Package Store.
Second.
Commissioner Kane,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Next petition is a petition for a transfer of license from Grocery Family Inc. to Pit Stop Food and Fuel Inc., DBA Pit Stop Food and Fuel located at 736, 740 Boston Road, Hardwick, Grocery Manager of Record.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So this is a petition for a transfer.
Yeah.
Transfer of ownership,
Yeah.
right? So we're just transferring from one corporation to another.
That is correct. Yeah.
Okay. Are there any questions from the commissioners?
Pash, have you filled out a business certificate with the city clerk for the new
Yes, I did.
corporation? You have? Okay,
Yeah.
right.
Okay. Any other questions? Now I make a motion to accept the petition for a transfer of license from Grocery Family Inc. to Pit Stop Food and Fuel Inc., DBA Pit Stop Food and Fuel located at 736, 740 Boston Road, Hardwick, Grocery Manager of Record.
Second,
Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Okay,
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
welcome. Have a good night.
Yes,
Thank you.
bye.
Take care.
Next item is a pre-hearing conference for My Jojo Inc., DBA Potbelly Pub located at 153 Main Street. Carlos Sarno, manager of record, incident of April 1st, 2023. Failure to allow police officer entry to licensed premise. Number 2, failure to call the police to report a disturbance. That's number 2. Number 3, exceeding capacity listed on the alcohol beverage license and allowing the use of smoking material without the required smoking permit in violation of Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 270, Section 22.
Chair Espinosa, on behalf of the licensing department, I did meet and negotiate with Attorney Rook with regards to this matter, and there will be a stipulation with a recommendation from Licensing Commission of a 10-day suspension with 6 days to serve and the balance to be held in abeyance for a year. I would ask, I can read the report, but I was wondering if the officer wanted to give some more context at this time, or you just want me to read more of it into the record? Bear?
I don't know if you want to read the whole thing or if
Oh.
you want it summarized.
Can you give me a summary?
Yeah, in essence, there was an officer on a directive patrol in the area. He was alerted to a disturbance inside by patrons that were leaving. He attempted to gain entry. Originally, he was not allowed in. He called for more cruisers. The disturbance kind of was pushed out onto the street. The other cruisers showed up. Eventually, they dispersed the crowd. They went in. They spoke to the manager that was on duty. I believe his name was Israel Estrada. At that point, he produced the licenses, but in essence, they denied the first officer entry. They also didn't call to report the disturbance. And once we got the video and we viewed it, it showed the other 2 violations. There was a large crowd in there. You could count the patrons as they exited the entrance. There was well over 50. And there were also a couple of females in there using some sort of vaping devices, smoking devices. That's basically the summary of what happened.
Commissioners, this is Attorney Tom Rook. Can you hear me?
Yes?
Yes.
I spoke to Attorney Powell a couple times today. And in an effort to resolve this and avoid a final hearing, we're agreeing to stipulate to the violations with a 10-day suspension, 6 days to be served over 2 consecutive Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays. So I would ask that you take that into consideration. This was an unfortunate incident that was a misunderstanding at worst. And I would ask you to adopt the recommendation from your attorney and myself.
Okay. I think that in order for us to continue doing what we have been doing all along, the suspension would have to be served Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
I'm sorry, Madam Chairwoman. The suspension would have to be served what?
Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Not Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 2 weeks in a row.
Right.
Well, could we do 6 consecutive days in a row? Thursday,
Mhm.
Friday, Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday?
Hold on, Mr. Rook. Before you get ahead of yourself here, I have some questions. And before we even think of, I want to know why the police officer was denied entry when he first attempted to gain entry of the establishment.
Primarily because the security guards, security officers at the establishment had the matter under control, and the individuals who were fighting were already outside the establishment.
That still doesn't explain why they would deny entry. If the police officers needed to go in there for any particular reason, regardless if there was a fight in the inside or outside, denying access of the police officer into the entry of that establishment is a bad sentiment for us, at least for me. It's not excusing the fact.
You're right, sir. You're right, sir. And that's why we are stipulating to the facts of the violation.
Yes, and that's fine. And I get what you guys are looking for, Monday, Tuesday, whatever day. I strongly believe it should be Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. But I'm gonna go with Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Because when we start denying entries for the police to go and investigate what happened, regardless if it happened 2 hours prior or in that time frame, they should be never denied entry.
I don't disagree with you, sir. You're right.
So basically what you asking for us to basically a slap in the wrist for denying entry for police to conduct this job and investigate and giving you Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Does that make any sense to you, Mr. Rook? Please explain that to me. Does that sound anything good at all?
On behalf of my client, I'm representing him and I'm presenting that proposal to you for consideration.
Okay, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate with your response that you agree with me that doesn't sound kosher. So, just to let you know, that will be a negative on my part, unless it's changed to Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
That's fine. We would not oppose that. Thank you.
Tom, is Mr. Estrada still employed there?
He is, but he's being retrained and he has been disciplined.
In over 20 years now on this commission, I don't think I've ever read a police report where the police were denied entry into a licensed establishment at any time. This was eye-opening. I was shocked, actually, when I read this. So Johnny is absolutely correct. I'm baffled that any employee in any licensed establishment is not told on day one, if the police or the license commissioners show up, you cannot deny them entry. They're allowed in regardless. This was very surprising.
I don't disagree with you, Commissioner.
Yeah. And he's still there, even more disturbing. So where'd Johnny go?
Well, the other piece is that even though the police were denied entry, we have some other egregious behavior too as well. You know, these vape smoking or whatever the case might be, and over capacity, you know, which is huge.
Right. So how do you propose this is going to be corrected?
The management has taken steps to better train the staff and educate them that you cannot, under any conditions, refuse a police officer or licensed commissioner's entrance into the establishment at any time of the day. The staff is all certified, and I think they recognize the seriousness of the circumstances surrounding this event.
Now,
so what do you think, Mr. Rook? Should we renegotiate the proposal you have with Mr. Pope? Or should you go on a sidebar, maybe come back to us and I don't know, but.
No, we would be willing to accept a, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday suspension.
Well, that's my recommendation, but I have to go with my fellow commissioners and see what they have to say.
Johnny, why did you say Thursday, Friday, Sunday?
Sunday.
Oh, I don't know. It just got me. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Sunday's a busy day for bars.
Oh, okay. I was wondering that too.
Yeah,
I had an
especially
inside scoop
games.
there.
Mhm.
Okay. Attorney.
Well, can we
Paul-
go, Johnny, Ramirez, Commissioner Ramirez, what about Friday, Saturday, Sunday? Rather than the Thursday, the Friday, Saturday, Sunday for 2 weeks, that would be 6 days. That seems like it might have a little more impact, Friday, Saturday, Sundays.
I agree with you on one aspect, if it was football season. Because I think there were a lot of people who were going to congregate for football there or something like that to watch football games. But I go whatever my fellow commissioners recommend on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday. As long as there's 3 consecutive days and the heat of the week there, I'm good for it. But I'm still trying to grasp on this whole thing of denying entry. I'm sorry, but to me, it's just not sitting well with me. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that's fine with me. Thursday, Friday, whichever my fellow commissioners want to agree to.
Any other suggestions from the commissioners?
Attorney Poe, was your conversation including what days of the week would be served?
We did have that conversation, but again, I think we would, well, it's up to the commission with regards to the days that they want to serve. So it's just a recommendation from the license department. As you know, the licensee would still have to stipulate and agree to whatever the commission's punishment. Otherwise, we go to a final hearing.
Okay, it appears that Attorney Rook is willing to take the 3 days, consecutive days, 2 consecutive weeks. So Attorney Poe, you still have to write this up and deliver it, correct?
That is correct, as well as, deliver the posted notification as the reasons why they're closed.
Yes.
Question,
Go
sorry, go ahead.
Yes.
So this would include the posted sign on the door as to
Yes.
why they're closed. Did you have something to say, Andrew?
Yes, I was just going to say the recommended 6-day suspension is that suspension for days to serve. Is that a recommendation as well? Or do we have to go with whatever you and Attorney Rook came up with?
So Attorney Rook, the recommendation that we submitted was the 10 days, 6 to serve.
I understand.
Okay, that was a
I'm saying,
recommendation.
is that that's just a recommendation? We can do what we want to do or make
Correct.
another decision. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, commissioners, Johnny, do you want to make a motion on that?
You're muted.
Sorry. I do make a recommendation for motion for 6 days to be served. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. For 2 consecutive weekends. For 6 days.
So that would be May 25th, 26th, 27th, and June 1st, 2nd, and 3rd.
Well, Attorney Poe has to write this all up and get it to them. So you need the following week, okay? You're muted now.
Yeah, if we could go to the following week, that'll work. So that would be June
2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and 9th, 10th, and 11th.
correct.
Yes.
Okay, is there a second?
So the
Second.
motion is for a 10-day suspension with 6 days to be served on June 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and 9th, 10th, and 11th, with 4 days to be held in abeyance for 1 year, plus the sign to be displayed in the doors of the bar for the 2 suspension periods of suspension. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, I second that.
Okay, Commissioner Cade?
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio?
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton?
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez?
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so the license office will be in contact with you and will send you that, that
Well, we're-
sign. for your door.
Attorney Rook, you're in agreement with this?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, good night.
night.
Second item is a pre-hearing conference for Los Muchachos Bar and Restaurant LLC, DBA Los Muchachos Bar and Restaurant located at 436 Boston Road, Suite B, Darling de Soriano, Manager of Record, incident of April 23rd, 2023, failure to comply with conditions of a license. I don't see anybody here for Los Muchachos. Do you know if they called the license office to?
Madam Clerk, Madam Chair, we saw them at the ABCC presentation yesterday. I verified with them that, our meeting was today at 5:30. I know that we also sent them the pre-hearing notice letter. My understanding was that they said that they had been in contact with an attorney and that they would be here. They're not here. Let me check the waiting room. They're not here.
Okay. So should we just go ahead and move to final hearing, or should we just continue? Being that you had a conversation with them?
My thought is we should continue it to the next meeting. They were here at our last meeting for the informational hearing. I think we should possibly try to figure out, blame it on a lack of understanding and give them an opportunity to appear at our next meeting.
Okay. Then I make a motion to continue Los Muchachos Bar and Restaurant LLC, DBA Los Muchachos Bar and Restaurant located at 436 Boston Road, Suite B, Darlene Soriano, Manager of Record, incident of 4/23/23, failure to comply with conditions of a license, to our next meeting on June 7th, 2023.
Second.
Commissioner Cade?
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton?
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio?
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez?
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes.
So the license that there's a violation on, I'm still confused about what's going on. Is this a common vic license that we're hearing? Because they don't have a liquor license, right?
No.
What,
All right.
BLB, right?
They have a BOB.
Oh, and BYOB.
BYOB.
God.
BYOB.
All right, Jesus.
That's all they have. It's going to be, well, we have new business, which is under, we started this conversation at our last meeting. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Next item, new business, discussion of issuance of BYOB.
So just to bring everybody up to speed, because I did have a meeting with Anna and Edna about the issuance of the BYOB, and we went over the License Commission guidelines. The guidelines do provide a little more structure. However, I think we just need to figure out, with regards to the application process, exactly how we want to proceed at this point. And we can go from there.
Okay. So I know that we had suggested maybe to add other questions to the application. So is that something that is being considered?
It is, if there are direct questions that we would like to add to the application, we can do that. Just to the application, because I think it was kind of
vague.
Right.
I think one of the things that we discussed was that these BYOBs are meant for restaurants, and that we should have an earlier closing time on a BYOB license, like midnight, 11 o'clock or midnight, and not allow them to go to 2 in the morning, so that they are trying to do an end run around the annual license process by getting this BYOB. And the Saray Turkish is the only one I know of, so that's the one I always use as an example. That's a true restaurant that allows their patrons to bring in wine or to enjoy with their food. It's not a, we get to bring our booze and drink until 2 a.m. place. So one of the things I think we should consider is putting in a stipulation that the BYOB is only granted till an earlier closing time, whatever we want to make that be.
Yeah, I agree.
I
Yeah,
agree as well.
That's all they doing is trying to get away from trying to get paying the fee for a regular license.
Right.
I do have a question. So on the BYOB, does it cover all types of liquor or, if I remember going to Big Mamu's, right? You brought your wine, some people brought some beer, you had your dinner, you had your drink, and you left. So is there, I just don't understand, like it was mentioned earlier, you're bringing your own booze in here, right?
Yes.
Tequila, vodka, bottle,
Right. Yes.
whatever. So you're sitting there and you're drinking the whole night until 2 a.m. They have no control. They can't say, okay, you have to stop drinking at 1. So so that is my question. Should it be just strictly the wine and beer, or is it just open to all liquor?
So under the commission rules, we have patrons may only bring malt beverages in containers no larger than 24 ounces and may bring no more than a total of 64 ounces per person. Patrons may only bring wine in containers no larger than 750 milligrams or milliliters, and may bring no more than a total of 750 milliliters per person. Patrons may only bring in liquor/cordials in containers no larger than 375 milliliters and may bring no more than a total of 375 milliliters per person. Patrons bringing in alcoholic beverages for their personal consumption must order food. It's in the regulations already. I think overall, I think Peter brings up one restaurant, but I think there's a total of 3 BYOBs out there. And I double checked with Anna. It's not huge, and it really has to be a part of an overall business strategy or plan as to why you do it. Maybe if you don't want to pay for the liquor license, but if you do it, you got to do it right. You can't do. You got to have food. Now I can tell you that a part of the application process, they're supposed to show up with they have to have a completed application for the common vic, an application for a business certificate issued by the city clerk, health inspection certificate, workers' compensation affidavit, and application fee to be considered. So all of that is in our policies and procedures. We just have to make sure that we follow it, and then anything else that we want to add, application-wise, language-wise, the commission is free to do that. I mean, even hours-wise, I think we're free to set that as well.
Sure. And there's no admission, there's no fee for someone to bring their own bottle in or.
Right. So the only fee is a $25 recorking fee. That's the only fee that they can charge for a BYOB, to recork, the $25 recorking fee. That's the only fee that can be charged.
So those Los Muchachos guys were charging a fee, some kind of a door charge, or I don't, they couldn't really answer the question, like how much were they charging by person or table or.
Now, what about a setup fee, Attorney Poe, there, with ice and glass or whatever?
No, I mean, if the setup fee, if you're ordering food in a, but a setup fee is not considered something that they can charge.
375 milliliters, is that what we would consider a pint? Like a pint bottle of vodka, or what used to be a pint? Yeah, that's
Everybody
right.
bought a bottle of those.
750 milliliters is the next size up, right? That's like a quart. So, so you could go and bring a pint of vodka for your own consumption. And I don't know, you're just going to drink vodka out of a glass. That seems odd, but I guess you could bring bourbon, a small bottle of bourbon if you wanted. Do we know, does it specify on the BYOB license whether it's wine and beer or all alcohol?
Wine and malt
They did
beverage.
say alcohol too, anyway.
It does say alcohol.
So it's it's one license regardless.
Correct.
Okay.
375 milliliters is just over 12 ounces, Peter.
Uh-huh. Oh, okay.
12.68 ounces.
Barry, do you remember when they went into Los Muchachos, if there were larger bottles than that of alcohol present?
I don't recall. They went in at the end of the night too, so I think a lot of the people were gone.
Yeah.
I know the only other, I guess, bad situation we had was the hookah factory when that was there.
Hmm.
And there they were all larger bottles. So they really, again, I think like Attorney Poe said, when they have it and they use it right, it's not an issue. It's the ones that don't, and that they don't follow any of the rules.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much what we're seeing. And again, we're only probably aware of the ones that are brought to our attention. I'm sure there's other ones that are doing the same exact thing. We're just not aware of it until there's an issue there.
So Saray begged us to take their license back because their patrons, they could not get Turkish wine wherever their patrons were able to get Turkish wine. So they wanted their patrons to be able to bring their own Turkish wine. So they please take this license off our hands. So they got their BYOB so that their customers could bring their own wine. And I believe Petra on Worthington Street are Muslim, or a faith which does not allow them to touch or serve alcohol. So that is why they had a BYOB, so that their patrons could bring their own, and they would serve, Petra would serve the food, and their patrons could bring and consume their own alcohol, both of which I think are good reasons to grant a BYOB. I don't know where the third one is, but there's two examples right there why, and I do know of a reporter who commented frequently that he liked to go to Petra and bring his own bourbon and enjoy it there. And I don't know where that third BYOB is though, but hookah factory was a mess.
I think it's one of the Mexican establishments.
Oh yeah. Oh,
I think so. If I'm not mistaken,
It's the one, or at least they had one. I don't know if they still do. It was the same people in Montezuma, and I forget the name of the second one. It's right at oh God, I'm drawing a blank. It's where the gas line, if
yes,
you remember.
yes, yeah.
Saboris. I think it was Los Saboris or Saboris.
Sabores.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Right. Is there any way, I'm sorry, John, you had a question?
No. I thought the third, I think when Peter was counting, I think the third at the time was by Big Mammoose.
Well, he closed
Yeah. So
that establishment, yeah. Is Attorney Poe, is there any way that we can receive an email letting us know if someone else was approved for BYOB?
I'll get the list from Anna. And again, I think the idea here, if I'm correct, Barry, we wanted to tighten up the application process so that, and we also talked about, putting them through a similar process as we do licensees, just so that we know and you can almost put them through the same, questions, or you understand, because as Anna said, we provide them with all the information. If they don't read it, it doesn't do any good. And If, you know, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So maybe, you know, but, you know, because I think it's just issued by the office now, and, you know, we should, you know, come up with a procedure where, and this is just, I mean, it's for the commission to consider so that we know what's out there, and they could take it more seriously, and, you know, they could set, you know, we don't set, so they don't set themselves up to fail to appear in front of us. And
Well,
at
we
least,
did talk, I'm sorry, Attorney Pope, but we did talk about this last time we met, is that perhaps they could come through the same channels that everybody comes through.
Yes,
You know,
public hearing, yes.
we would have to write it into the, into our, it's not a part of the process right now, but it's something that if, you know, if the commission believes that we should do that, we can definitely start the process of trying to get that done.
I personally think is a good idea, just so that they understand, you know, it's just not as easy to just go and get your BYOB and then do whatever you want with it. You know, they should be able to understand, and, you know, someone, the commission perhaps, can tell them, you know, do you understand? Did you read it and you understood what it says, and you know what you can and can't do?
Yeah.
You know, and at the same time, for us commissioners, me personally, I would like to know if someone went there yesterday to the office and, you know, received the BYOB, I would like to, you know, receive an email just letting me know that, you know, this restaurant or whoever has a BYOB. Sometimes it takes me by surprise when I see, and I said, oh, somebody, you know, so they do have it. Or I may get a phone call where they say, well, you know, there's a party at such place, and, you know, I don't know what to say because I don't know whether they have a BYOB or not.
Well, you know, if they came through here, we could ask the appropriate questions where,
Yes.
and they might not have the time to do all that.
Right.
Right,
We need to regulate it a little bit tighter.
yes. So what are the suggestions? That we have a public hearing on each one and that the hours be reduced? Is there anything else? Are we gonna keep it both all alcohol and beer and wine?
I think we can keep it as that, but I agree with Peter. We need to establish a deadline, like a restaurant, you know, 11 p.m., 12 midnight, and that's it. They can't go past those times.
Right.
Yeah.
With the last person that we had that spoke about, you know, the BYOB, I mean, clearly he said, I want to run the restaurant until 9, and then, you know, we can sit down and drink. And that's pretty much what he said, you know,
Yeah,
so,
no on that.
yeah.
Barry, did you have any other suggestions?
No, I think that was it. I mean,
Yeah.
the big thing, is just having them come in front of the commission,
Definitely.
like any other new licensee, and explain what they're gonna do. And it, like you said too, it gives you the opportunity to explain the rules to them so that they don't end up in the same position.
Hmm.
You know, I understand they're given a copy of the rules. It's clear that no one read those. I mean, they had no clue what we were talking about. So I think that would be beneficial.
Okay.
And I think it also will give some type of notice, like you said, to all of us and Barry's team to know that this establishment down the street is a BYOB, and, you know, it can be pay attention to, if you want to say, or if there's something happens, it gives them a quick knowledge, or that's the kind of, it's a BYOB. It makes gather some of the information, I think, a lot quicker to do their job and our job.
Right.
So what is the next step? Do we need a proposed change to review and then a public hearing?
Correct.
Okay.
Who wants to make that motion?
Are we putting those two?
Are
things
we
in?
putting,
That's it?
are we putting as a motion?
Yeah, or we gonna formulate a guideline first and then present it and see if we agreed on those, and then put in a motion. What do you think, Attorney Paul?
Well, essentially what I'm thinking is that we're gonna be modifying section 5 for the bring your own brew regulations. And we're gonna be adding certain sections to it, which will be a public hearing. A set hours to reduce hours for, and then whatever changes we need to do to the most. So essentially what I would propose, well, I can't propose anything. What I'm thinking is that what we will do is look at the section 5. I'll bring the modifications that you have suggested at this meeting to section 5 for your review. And then you can make a decision on whether you accept it or not, and what additional changes you would like to make.
Sounds good.
Sounds
That's
good.
good. Mhm.
Can you also bring us a list of, so we're not guessing at who has one right now?
Absolutely. Okay, thank
you. Okay, great.
Thank you. Next item is the administrative review of incident reports. We have Adele Ray. Did everyone have an opportunity to read Del Ray?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I think we should take action and bring them in for a pre-hearing.
I would say so. Do they have a late night entertainment license, Barry? Do you know?
I do not. I know that this happened, I want to say 11 p.m. It wasn't very late. I know the two of the girls involved had just gotten there. They got there after 10. They were there for a short time. As far as late night entertainment, I asked recently about, I don't remember what, it might have been Potbellies, and I was told that they hadn't issued them since COVID, but I wasn't sure if they were referring to just that location or in general.
Late night entertainment licenses predate COVID.
Right. And it was weird, the response I got back. So I wasn't sure if they stopped issuing them. I don't know. I do know the guy from Wig Madness, because I spoke to him about it too, and to check if he had it. And he said he never heard of it before, that he would look into it because he wanted to make sure that he had it as well. So
the reason I ask is with late night entertainment license, I believe they have to have a security plan. No?
They do.
They do. All right.
Yeah.
So, and on the security, if they're open till 2 and they are offering entertainment past midnight, then they should have a late night entertainment license and they should have a security plan, which then we can review if they have one and find out how many cameras they have and what the retention period on the cameras is, because it appears that some of the camera coverage here is lacking at Del Rey.
Okay. Was it lacking, or was it that it wasn't available at that time?
Barry, was there sufficient coverage of the cameras? I thought I read that some of the areas weren't covered, or
I don't know. So our video tech went there. I mean, I believe we got 1 or 2 camera views. It captures what happens. And then there's also a city camera that kind of captures
outside
2 females as they're removed from the press. So I don't think it was this one where there was a lack of
okay.
The manager there was cooperative from the beginning. You know, he provided us the footage. You know, I don't think there was an issue with their camera coverage. They did provide it.
I think the main issue here is with an overly aggressive bouncer. I don't recall reading a report recently where a bouncer is this aggressive, and if they want to remove somebody and they refuse to leave, they're not supposed to pick them up and drag them outside and throw them in the street, right? They're supposed to call the police and say, this patron refuses to leave.
I think that's only done in movies.
I was a little shocking that reading this and granted they're all related, but the report from all 4 of the witnesses seems to all agree. So pre-hearing conference, I think, and just have a chat with this manager and say, you know, you can't be throwing people in the street.
Did I read that he was no longer with Del
I-
Rego?
I believe he was fired.
That particular bouncer was gone.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
That's-
so there's
that's
got to
part
be
of it.
protocols set in place, and we're not throwing women out on the street, or men for that matter.
And I guess no one from the establishment called the police.
No.
Correct.
No,
Yeah, that's a biggie.
That's the biggie, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, then I make a motion to move Del Rey to a pre-hearing conference.
Second,
Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
yes,
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
yes,
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Second item is Potbelly Pub incident of 4/29/2023.
Isn't that the one we just did?
This is
Those-
that was at the beginning of the month. This was at the end of the month.
Oh, okay.
So
Right.
who is still surprised that security guy is still there at Potbelly Pub besides me? Am I the only one? Okay, this one, I don't think that there's.
No
any-
action.
No
right.
action, right.
Okay, make a motion to take no action of Potbelly incident of 4/29,
Second,
2023. Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
yes,
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
yes,
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Wing Madness, April 30th, 2023. Did everyone read it?
yes.
No action. I mean, it seems like Barry, they were just getting together in the parking lot. Like the
It was
cars.
hard. Oh, he did have an event there. So the way he described it to me, he does events a couple times a month. So he did have an event, and he said they did close the doors at one point and people got angry. But he caps it at 100. I believe his capacity is 120. The call was just for people congregating in the parking lot. And from what the officer said, it was throughout that parking lot, which you've been to the Springfield Plaza. It's huge.
Huge.
So
Right.
how he can control what happens by Stop and Shop or in any other area, other than right in front of his establishment.
So these people gathering in the parking lot are not even necessarily his customers. They're just people
Okay.
better to do.
Right. Or people that wanted to go who
Oh.
couldn't go because
Oh,
of his
mm,
capacity.
mm.
A combination of both, I suppose.
Mhm.
Okay. Make a motion to take no action for Wing Madness.
Second,
Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
yes,
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Top Shelf incident of May 1st, 2023. Everyone read it?
Yes,
yes,
No questions? I make a motion that we take no action.
Second.
second,
Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
yes,
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes.
A lot of shell casings found there outside of Top Shelf. I'm one of these times it's gonna be something worse, I think. But
Yeah,
not
it's
this time.
coming.
Yep, I'm afraid it is.
Cons Food and Drinks incident of
They're
May
back, they're back.
14th, they're back.
He was a good boy for how long and now
Well, he
Honest.
was a good boy because it was closed. Just open. We had talked about this. Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio had mentioned that he was supposed to come back before he officially opened, and we were gonna have him come back, and then voila, we have a
Yeah.
report in front of us.
Right.
But he's back.
He's back, he sure is. His father is not there. So I've been to those comedy shows and they're pretty colorful. I am surprised that this took place outside of the patio. Never mind not having an entertainment license for the patio. You have residential homes behind the establishment, right where the patio is. And I can only assume this was pretty colorful too.
I think
I don't
today is
I don't
I'm
know if you
sorry?
remember, the last time he came in, he indicated that he was gonna have this whole new system, sound system, where each person at the table would have their own little sound or whatever the case may be. He never indicated that he's gonna have an entire sound system again like that.
Well, I haven't been there, but I was told that there are some sort of speakers by the table and, I think the problem here is the fact that he had this event outside and it was inappropriate language. The fact that he doesn't have an entertainment, right, an entertainment permit for outside, and then it was very inappropriate.
So Barry, what do you think? What do you got?
I think that was Mother's Day, and I think that's why the neighbor there had everyone over her house. That's, obviously she was upset because she knows from all this that they can't have entertainment outside.
Right.
And when she actually called there first. I don't know if you saw that, because they
Right.
went around the neighbors and said, hey, if you ever hear anything, please call us and let us know. And, she had called me and said, should I do that? And I go, absolutely. If they're willing to work with you, work with them. But this day, they told her, yeah, well, he's too busy, but we'll take care of it. And then it just got louder. And then the guy started making comments like they want us to turn it down, but we're not. So I think she's just, she's had enough again already.
Ready.
Yeah, the comedians start making comments.
Yeah.
Right, and
Yeah.
perhaps, I'm sure it wasn't the staff or even the owner, but I'm sure if they told the comedians to keep it down, that was part of the comedy for the night. But I make a motion to take action and just move to a pre-hearing conference.
Second.
Commissioner Kane,
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Solmar Restaurant incident of May 5th, 2023. Did everyone read it?
Yes.
Yes.
Make a motion to take no action.
Second.
Commissioner Cade,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. And the last one is Entertainment District. Okay. Is there anything else before we adjourn?
I'd just like to make a comment. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
No,
Kay,
no,
go
no,
right
no,
ahead. No.
Ladies are first. Pretty ladies
Oh,
are first.
Thank you so
I'll
much.
go if neither one of you go.
Right.
Thank you. I had the opportunity to attend the ABCC seminar yesterday, which was extremely informative. It was wonderful. Got to meet some of the owners of our establishments and package stores. And John, by the way, I did end up with a $25 ticket because my meter ran out.
Uh-oh.
Really?
Yes. Anyway, that's not why I'm complaining. An owner of a package store approached me and he first asked how long I had been on the commission. I said, approximately a year. He said he had come before the commission, didn't say exactly when, but he said he has come before the commission, never received a response to an inquiry that he had. He was asking if there's any regulation, stipulation as to the distance from his establishment that another package store, liquor store could open. He said he came before the commission, opposed another establishment opening. Since then, others have opened. He said he never received the response to that. And he said, of course, it's hurting his business. And he just wanted an answer. Do any of the commissioners know, are there any regulations or stipulations that liquor stores have to be, 100 yards from each other, 200 yards, or there's any restrictions to that?
No.
Okay, that answers that question. And just one question for Barry. He also has concerns currently with his surrounding establishments that they are not following protocols, hours of sales, the packaging, the bagging of alcohol that's leaving the establishments. But of course, he didn't want to come forward because he's afraid of some retaliation.
So these are establishments that are selling before 8 AM or after 11 PM?
Yes, yes. He says they're not falling within their realm of their business hours, and they're leaving the establishments with alcohol in plastic bags rather than brown paper bags.
Is that a rule? I didn't know that was a rule.
I'm not sure.
I never heard that rule.
Never heard that.
Okay, he thought perhaps it was, and I wasn't sure. I couldn't answer that question for him.
If you want, you can, I mean, obviously, you can just send me the location and I can
Okay.
figure out around them, and we can keep an eye on,
Okay,
their business practices, I guess.
okay.
Just out of curiosity, was it in Forest Park?
It was not.
Okay.
Was
Liberty
not.
Heights.
Liberty.
Okay.
East Springfield, Liberty.
Yeah. So there was one, I know, one of the holidays. I don't know if he mentioned that specifically. There was concern that they were open on a holiday where they couldn't be open.
Okay. He didn't
So-
mention that. You didn't mention that, but
It's probably the same one, but just shoot me an email.
I will.
and
I
We'll
will.
look in.
All right. He also left me his phone number. Is it overstepping my to call him back with a response to our response that no, there is no regulations to distances, and I just don't want to overstep my authority.
Well, let me expand on my no, which is the short answer. The License Commission does have in its authority to deny a license. And one of those reasons would be that the area is already adequately served.
Mhm.
That is, we've used that twice recently at the X, when a package store wanted to open directly at the X, and Forest Park Liquors is
Yeah,
basically,
did one down in the north end
Right.
too recently.
Yes.
Yep.
So that is, that is called the Ballerin consideration. When we make a motion to deny, we use as many of the Ballerin considerations
Yep, I've
as
heard
are
that.
applicable. I can send those to you if you want.
Okay.
And one of them is that the area is already adequately served by package store. You don't need another one so close. But as far as mass general law stating, package stores can only be a mile apart, there's no regulation that I'm aware of.
Okay, that's good to know.
And that's another reason why, as as a neighbor, they should probably make themselves available to come to the meetings as well. Because, like, for example, Forest Park, whenever anything's gonna happen there, you see that we have 15, 20 people that attend, neighbors. So
Yeah.
it's very important that they understand they need to come in and let their voice be heard.
Well, actually, it was a business owner, and it wasn't a neighborhood. He was an established business, and all of a
Package
sudden,
store
the
owner,
stores
right?
part opening up, and now his business has been impacted by it.
But, more so, he can come in and say, I oppose, can you please take into
He actually-
consideration that I'm
he-
here?
Yeah, he actually said he did that.
He said he came to a license commission meeting and asked, is there a law stating how many? I don't recall anybody ever
I don't
asking.
recall.
He said he opposed it, but again, he asked the question of me, is there any regulation?
Oh.
So I don't know when he supposedly attended this meeting, but he did say he did ask if there were any regulations prohibiting stores opening as close to one another as possible. And again, he just said he just never heard back from the commission. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, he could have,
Right.
like I said, if it's not overstepping my authority, I would gladly give him a call back and just explain, what we've what we,
I,
I
the
don't,
stores are open, so there's really,
Yeah.
he's, I mean, it's kind of a mood issue right now for him. The stores are already open, so he's gonna have to
right,
figure
I-
out how he can grow his business if he feels he's impacted by these other liquor stores being open in a close proximity to his business.
right.
I don't
Right.
see any reason why you can't reply to his question.
Okay, okay, he gave me his name and number, so I will gladly call him back,
Okay.
Anything else? No. Okay,
Andrew,
then
what do
I,
you have? You,
Peter,
oh,
no, I
Andrew,
was
it's your
going to,
turn.
I was not going to say anything, but I will bring it up because we did receive an email from Peter, who had received an email from someone else in the community relative to St. Anthony's, the Cedars. And there's a June 17th event that is going to happen with DJ Black. And the people who had written the email were concerned about the time of operation and also about the liquor license. He had supported the liquor license passing in the past, but all of a sudden, I was just wondering why this particular event, they have events there every week. So why are they so concerned with the June 17th event? And probably you
I
can't say anything about that because you don't know, but I'm just
No, I
bringing
don't.
it up because we did get that email.
maybe the champagne shower or whatever it was they were talking about in that.
Okay.
Yeah,
They,
they're
I
talking about-
believe they have a GOP, right, which doesn't even require the service of food, and they can be open till 2 AM, so the floodgates are open. They can grant any kind of these.
Right,
I mean, this isn't a typical event that happens there at the church social center. It's usually, a political campaign thing or a shower or a wedding, but there's nothing that I'm aware of in their liquor license that would restrict this kind of an event. I don't know about their entertainment license, however. Alicia asked Attorney Poe, what did she, I can't remember. She asked you to look at it?
Just asked me to look into it,
Oh,
investigate it. So I'm just gonna do that.
yeah, okay.
Good, good.
okay. Anything else? No, okay, then I make a motion to adjourn at 6:43.
Second,
Commissioner Kane,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
yes.
Commissioner D'Angelo Antonio,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner Espinosa, yes. Okay, good night.